There was a time when Antonio Brown was the most feared wide receiver in football. An undersized 6th-round pick out of Central Michigan who became the face of a franchise, a Super Bowl champion, and a walking highlight reel. But behind the flash, behind the stats, something was beginning to unravel. What followed was one of the most chaotic collapses the sports world has ever seen, filled with lawsuits, outbursts, burned bridges, and a fall so public it was almost painful to watch.
Oh, give me a with that stuff. Yeah, that's like that. Time to get in the head. Before the road, y'all. Check it out.
Antonio Tavares Brown was born July 10, 1988 in Liberty City, Miami, Florida. His father, Touchdown Eddie Brown, was a star in the Arena Football League and named its greatest player in 2006, but Antonio was mostly raised by his mother, Adrienne Moss. His upbringing was turbulent, to say the least. After his parents separated when he was 10 years old, Brown lived with his mother and stepfather. Their relationship was strained, and in his teens, Brown was kicked out of the house, leaving him without stable housing. At Miami Norland High School, Brown showcased his versatility, playing quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and punt returner. He earned 2 Class 6A All-State selections and was named the North Athlete of the Year at the 2005 Miami-Dade Gridiron Classic. Despite his athletic talent, academic struggles kept Antonio Brown from landing in a major program. He was denied admission to Florida State, and a plan to attend Alcorn State also fell through. He instead enrolled at North Carolina Tech Prep, a junior college, where he played quarterback in just 5 games, racking up over 1,200 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, and another 13 rushing scores, showing his dynamic skill set. Afterward, he received a scholarship offer from FIU, but an altercation with campus security led to his expulsion before he even played a snap. Determined to keep playing, Brown reached out to Butch Jones, who had once recruited him as the wide receivers coach at West Virginia. By then, Jones had taken the head coaching job at Central Michigan, and Brown followed, walking on with the team in 2007. He made a quick transition from quarterback to wide receiver, earning a scholarship within weeks thanks to his standout athleticism and work ethic. Over the next 3 years, Brown became one of the most productive receivers in college football, leading the Mid-American Conference in receptions and yards and earning 3 All-MAC first-team honors. In 2009, his final season, Brown led all of Division I in receptions per game, finishing with 101 catches, over 1,400 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Despite his production, concerns over his size, speed, and maturity dropped his stock in the 2010 NFL Draft. He was selected in the 6th round, 195th overall, by the Pittsburgh Steelers. As a 6th-round pick, Antonio Brown had to claw his way up the Steelers' depth chart. He began as a return specialist, but by his second season, he'd earned the number 3 receiver spot behind Mike Wallace and Emmanuel Sanders. When Wallace left in free agency, Brown became the team's top target, and in 2012, the Steelers locked him in with a long-term extension. From 2013 to 2017, Brown was arguably the best wide receiver in football, a constant All-Pro known for his precise routes and unmatched work ethic. His 2015 season was especially historic, breaking Lynn Swann's single-season reception record and putting up jaw-dropping numbers. But with the rise came some tension. Brown's fiery personality surfaced early, like the 2012 practice outburst where he shouted, "Don't touch me, I'm the franchise," at defensive coordinator Dick LeBeau. In 2014, he notoriously kicked Browns punter Spencer Lanning in the face during a return, a moment that went viral. By 2016 and 17, sideline blowups and growing friction between him and Ben Roethlisberger began to overshadow his production. Brown grew frustrated with Roethlisberger's public criticisms and what he saw as preferential treatment.
I told him on the sideline, maybe just come talk to me. Ask me what happened. Tell me that you were open. You know, Heath Miller, if that was Heath Miller, I'd probably ask Heath on the sideline, hey, Heath, were you open? He'd probably tell me no, because he wouldn't want you to feel bad. That's just who he was. And I wish that he would have just come talk to me and tell me, hey, Ben, I killed him on display, whatever. That goes a lot further than throwing a temper tantrum.
Despite putting up historic numbers, it was clear that a storm was building behind the scenes. That storm would hit full force in 2018. Statistically, Brown remained elite. 104 catches, 1,297 yards, and a league-leading 15 touchdowns. But off the field, the situation was unraveling. Early in the season, after a Week 2 loss to the Chiefs, a former Steelers staffer tweeted that Brown owed his success to Roethlisberger. Brown fired back with a now infamous reply, "Trade me, and let's find out." It was dismissed as a heat-of-the-moment statement, but the fracture was clear. As the season wore on, reports of arguments with teammates and coaches mounted, and his practice habits were beginning to be questioned. On the sidelines, his behavior grew erratic. Then came Week 17, a must-win game with playoff implications. Brown reportedly threw a football at Roethlisberger during a team walkthrough and skipped practices in the days that followed after a disagreement. Come game day, he was benched, not for injury, but for conduct. He arrived late and left at halftime. It was the last time Antonio Brown wore a Steelers uniform. What followed was a media blitz. Brown took shots at Roethlisberger and the organization in interviews and on social media. He demanded a trade, torched relationships, and embraced a volatile public persona that blurred the line between frustration and instability. A Hall of Fame caliber run in Pittsburgh ended not with a farewell, but with silence, chaos, and scorched earth. After forcing his way out of Pittsburgh, Antonio Brown was traded in March of 2019 to the Oakland Raiders for 3rd and 5th round picks, a surprisingly small return for one of the NFL's premier receivers. The Raiders, led by head coach John Gruden and GM Mike Mayock, saw Brown as their offensive centerpiece and signed him to a 3-year, $50 million deal with over $30 million guaranteed. But the fresh start quickly spiraled into chaos. First came the cryotherapy mishap. Brown froze the bottoms of his feet after entering a chamber without proper footwear, sidelining him for most of training camp. Then came the helmet drama. Brown refused to give up his old, now banned, helmet model, even threatening to retire over it. He filed multiple grievances, all which were dismissed, and missed practices, sparking early tension with the team. The Raiders initially stood by him, but patience eroded as Brown continued missing team activities and was fined repeatedly. The situation exploded after a heated altercation with GM Mike Mayock, where Brown stormed towards him and reportedly called him a cracker after having to be restrained. Then, Antonio Brown released a private phone call between him and head coach John Gruden onto social media, which only stirred the tension further.
Please stop this shit and just play football. How hard is it, man? You're a great football player. Just play football.
Yeah, but I'm more than a football player, man. I'm a real person. It ain't about the football. I know how to do that. I'll show you guys there on the daily.
Oddly, only a few days later, Brown read a prepared statement to the media saying he was committed to the team and eager to contribute. But the next morning, he posted his fine letter on Instagram with a defiant caption. "You're gonna piss a lot of people off when you start doing what's best for you." That same morning, September 7, 2019, Brown formally requested his release. The Raiders granted it later that day, voiding his contract guarantees, and Brown never played a snap for them. He celebrated his release on social media.
Look at Adam Shepard.
The Raiders free!
Bro,
Let's go!
oh, fucking nigga.
By that afternoon, Antonio Brown was a member of the New England Patriots. Pairing him with Tom Brady looked like a potential masterstroke, a chance for Brown to reset his career in a disciplined, championship-caliber environment. He played one game, catching a touchdown against the Dolphins. But off the field, things already began unraveling. A civil lawsuit had just been filed by his former trainer, accusing him of sexual assault and rape. Soon after, a second woman came forward with similar claims. When Brown allegedly sent her threatening messages, the Patriots swiftly cut ties, just 11 days after signing him. Brown lashed out on social media once again, even taking shots at Patriots owner Robert Kraft. What began as a promising comeback quickly became another scorched opportunity. By the end of 2019, Brown was once again out of the league. After the abrupt end to his brief stint with the Patriots, Antonio Brown's NFL future looked uncertain. Yet, despite ongoing controversies and legal troubles, he found a fresh opportunity with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2020. Teaming up once again with quarterback Tom Brady, Brown helped the Buccaneers on a remarkable Super Bowl run that resulted in a championship victory in Super Bowl 55. His contributions both on and off the field played a part in Tampa Bay ending their long title drought and solidifying Brown's return to NFL prominence. However, Brown's time in Tampa Bay took a sharp turn during the 2021 season. After serving a 3-game suspension for violating the NFL COVID-19 protocols, including falsifying vaccination status, Brown returned to play in 7 games. Throughout this period, he claimed to be dealing with injuries, but the team disputed those claims. The situation came to a head on January 2, 2022, during a game when head coach Bruce Arians asked Brown to enter despite ongoing questions about his status. Brown refused, and Arians reportedly told him that he was done and to leave the field, signaling the end of their patience. Feeling disrespected and frustrated, Brown staged an infamous mid-game walk-off, removing his pads and uniform while teammates attempted to calm him down, then leaving the field in full view of cameras and fans. This dramatic exit was, of course, the final straw for the Buccaneers, who released him immediately after the game.
He is no longer a Buck. All right, that's the end of the story. Let's talk about the guys that went out there and won the game.
Marking the end of his turbulent NFL journey for the time being. After his turbulent exit from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Antonio Brown's NFL career seemed to be effectively over, yet the drama surrounding him was far from finished. In 2022, Brown made headlines for all the wrong reasons. Reports surfaced that he had exposed himself to a woman at a luxury hotel in Dubai, an incident that shocked fans and added to the growing list of the controversies dogging him. Back in the United States, his personal life remained chaotic. Brown was accused of a domestic dispute in Tampa, where he allegedly threw a shoe at his ex-fiancée during an argument, leading police to seek an arrest warrant. Financial trouble soon followed. In 2023, Brown faced multiple arrest warrants related to unpaid child support, with authorities claiming that he owed tens of thousands of dollars to the mothers of his children. Meanwhile, Brown was also being sued by a celebrity jeweler for over $1 million after borrowing diamond-encrusted finger rings in 2022 and failing to return or pay them despite court orders. His refusal to comply, even responding with offensive messages to the jeweler, further damaged his reputation, of course. In early 2023, Antonio Brown tried to reestablish himself in football by becoming involved with the Albany Empire, a team in the National Arena League. Brown claimed full ownership of the franchise, but of course, this was disputed. The team's co-owner, frustrated by Brown's erratic behavior and mismanagement, sold his share to Brown for just $1 in protest. From there, Brown's stewardship of the empire was chaotic and destructive. He fired multiple head coaches in rapid succession, cut key players, and repeatedly failed to pay salaries. Publicly, Brown criticized the team and league, often making inflammatory statements that fueled turmoil behind the scenes. He'd even attempted and even advertised that he'd play for the team before eventually not doing so.
Antonio Brown is telling us that the fans are not upset tonight. They're happy to be here even if he's not playing. What do you think about that?
I came here with the understanding that AP was playing. I'm kind of disappointed that he didn't play.
He had thoroughly destroyed a team that had just won the league championship just a year before. The situation continued to spiral until the league decided to take decisive action, ultimately expelling the Albany Empire from the league for failing to pay league fees and maintain operational standards. In May of 2024, Brown filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, declaring debts of over $3 million and assets worth less than $50,000. The filing revealed a staggering amount of financial trouble, including a $1.2 million civil judgment stemming from a 2020 assault lawsuit. Yet, the saga didn't end there. Bankruptcy trustees soon questioned the accuracy of its disclosures, alleging that Brown had failed to report property transfers and even ownership of social media accounts, assets that should have been a part of a bankruptcy estate. These discrepancies suggested he might be hiding income or assets, further complicating his legal battles. Then, in May of 2025, the situation took a darker turn. Brown was involved in a violent incident outside a celebrity boxing event in Miami. Initially, reports suggested that he'd been the victim of an attempted mugging, but surveillance footage and witness statements painted a different picture. Brown allegedly assaulted a man, grabbed a security officer's firearm, and fired 2 shots, grazing the victim. The evidence was damning, and by June, an arrest warrant was issued charging Brown with attempted murder with a firearm. By Antonio Brown's own claim, he is currently not in the country. With the amount of controversies involved, it's hard to include them all. Antonio Brown's story is a stark reminder of how talent and turmoil can collide, how brilliance on the field can be overshadowed by chaos off of it. From record-breaking highs to headline-making lows, his journey is far from over. Whatever the future holds, one thing is clear. Antonio Brown's legacy will forever be one of the most compelling and complicated in sports history. But what do you guys think of Antonio Brown? What do you think of his rise and fall from NFL prominence to possible criminal on the run? Let me know in the comments below, and if you like this video, please do me a huge favor and like the video, and maybe subscribe for more content just like this.